What's happening, everybody? How we doing? Hope all is well. I brought my Cardinal with me again tonight, but he's going to leave right now. I hope all is well. Uh, Before I change the background, Maureen, how are you, my dear? I hope everybody hears me loud and clear. Maureen, Benny boy, Sally boy, where you been? Good to see you, my brother. Cinnamon girl, always a pleasure. Always. Let's go up top here before we get into another night. Bobby, my man, what's happening, Bobby? Bobby, what's up, Bobby? JBT, what's the good word, Davey? Hope all is well on the home front. That goes for everybody. Bobby, we got a lot to talk about tomorrow night. We'll get to that. Matty boy, what's happening, pal? Let's see. I want to make sure I get whoever's here right now. Miss nobody. You guys know. Cinnamon Girl, thank you so much for dropping all the links. I appreciate that very much. Roy, what's happening? Stevie, what's happening, guys? Roy, I know it's late, my man. I know you'll catch the replay, whatever. Steve, how are you? Nikki, what's happening, Big Nick? Long time no speak. Hope all is well. I guess we could. You like the background, Benny? Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna gut this place soon. We're gonna give you guys a good. We're gonna make we're gonna have a show. We're gonna have to do it right from whatever we're talking about aesthetically. I want to get it right, so we'll figure out how we're gonna do that and get that started someday soon, hopefully. Um, Spring is in the air, and it's funny you say spring is in the air because I believe the story I'm going to tell tonight event was in the summertime. I believe it was in the summertime. It was nice weather, if I recall. Sometimes the details, again, I always told you guys, my wife says I have selective memory. But certain things you don't forget to the littlest thing. So, hope all is well. Everybody's good. Let's, without further ado, let's do what we do. Let's get into it. So, one second. I'm sorry to be rude. It's only club soda seltzer, guys. You know what? Let's get rid of this. I don't like this. Sorry. I don't need no virtual background. I'm tired of that. There we go. Back to what you know. All right. So, one day, one morning, I'm already with a friend of mine, and had coffee. I remember probably somewhere 11, 12 o'clock. I remember it being early, not too late. So probably early, either early afternoon or whatever, daytime. And he's driving, um, and he says to me, "Listen, I want to go see. I have to go see somebody uh, in the neighborhood in the Bronx. Well, let's go." So I'm at first not that it was really a thought because I told you you're not thinking about anything really um, at all except if you're when you're involved with something. So him telling me he has to go see somebody, maybe he has to go speak to a friend of his or whatever. But as we're driving, he says, "Here's what I want you to do." So now I know there's something that for me to do. So the situation, the way it was explained to me, was they had a gentleman who was you guys know I speak. It could be frustrating maybe because I don't just spit it out. You know, I choose my words carefully for many reasons. Many. Um, so the gentleman I was going to speak to was, let's just say, in the entertainment business. That's safe to say. Um, so he uh, was on record with the group that I'm with, except I'm on record in a different way, right? Explain that. Those and a businessman in the entertainment business that they helped him secure uh, contracts in the entertainment, whatever his entertainment he provided at certain venues. They saw to it that those venues strictly used him for the entertainment, right? We could be talking about Sweet 16s, those types of places that hold baptisms, weddings, stuff like that. So he was doing very well. And so, of course, when you're going to have people help you secure that type of business, and you're busy, forget it. There wasn't enough days in a week. That's how big he got. From what I understood, it was being explained to me. This was he was in place as far as uh, the family was taking. He was on record with the family in business long before I came around. So it was long before me. So the reason for us needing to see him, and then what I needed. Give me a thumbs up. It says that we lost connection. Damn. Oh, we lost sound. Are we good right now? Are we good right now? Can you see me? All right, we're good. Okay. Yeah, it said all of a sudden we lost the connection. I don't know, man. I've been everywhere I go, even like my side of town in Queens. I speak to other people from other parts of the country or our country. They having issues. Long story short, I don't. I'll get my train of thought back. I'm sorry to have that interrupted. I have no control over that. It pisses me off actually. And those that know me well know I want to take this computer right now and throw it, but I can't. Otherwise, then there's no story. So, so as we're driving to where we're going to go, um, I'm going to leave that part out. OG Mike, my man, always great to see you, my brother. You know that. Great pictures today, my friend. I saw them. Great pictures. You and your family on vacation. Just safe trip. When you decide to head back, great to see you. So he's explaining to me about how the family helped this entertainment man, gentleman, um, build up. They felt they played a very big part in him having, always brother, um, being very successful. Well, what happens is, as he's getting bigger and bigger and bigger in that area of what they helped provide for him, make sure he's booked every weekend, make sure certain venues offered him and strongly suggested that people use him for entertainment, music, whatever. You know what I'm saying, where I'm going with that here. White Earp, what's happening, buddy? GDM, how are you, dear? So he's explaining to me the situation. Well, Craig, he's got a lot of things going. He's making really good money, very well. Um, and the last 3 or 4 months, he's hard to find. Uh, it's always a story, and you got to understand. Or I'll explain it. Um, when you're in business with when you're in business with the boys, they know what you're doing before you do it. Meaning, you might think you're doing, you might think they don't know that you're doing 30 weddings in a month, 15 proms, whatever. I'm just throwing crazy shit out there. Guess what? The reason why you're able to get that work is because they're doing business with the owners of those. Jimmy, my man, tell him, my brother? Well, Jimmy boy, what's happening? Great to see you. So he's getting that work. They know what he's doing. They don't need a printout from him to know how many. I'm trying. The reason why I'm not using, I'm trying to reflect who the. It is what it is. They know how many weddings you're doing. They know how many sweet 16s you're doing. They know how many proms you're doing. They know how many whatever you're doing. And they know the venues you're doing them at because they're controlling all of those venues, reception halls, whatever you want to call them. Okay? That spells it out even better. So they know before you. So if you think you're fooling them and you're going to cry that I'm not making the money, I'm slow, you're mistaken because they have a stake in every one of those places. Well known. That's been going on forever. Any place that hosts big weddings and stuff like that, the boys always were involved with. They either owned them personally or they had pieces of them. I mean, Jimmy's in the house. I'm sure, he knows damn well what I'm saying. So that was the situation. FGL, what's happening? So he's explaining to me, he's laying it out for me. And, the last few months it's been, um, yeah, he's nowhere to be found. He's got a story. Things are slow. And the patience part has gone. It's past the point of wait till next week. I'll see you next week. All of that stuff well past that point. So I'm being, you know, the story's being broken down to me, and eventually, we get to, all right, how do you want me to handle it? That's how it always comes down to. How do you want me to handle it? Now, sometimes it'll be told, this is what I want you to do. 8 out of 10. This is how I want you to handle it. This is what I want you to do. In this case, I had already had a relationship, so we were very close. So for me to speak, after I'm told the story, well, how do you want me to handle it? It wasn't disrespectful. We had a pretty good relationship personally. So he tells me how he wants me to handle it, but he says to me, I'm going to be sitting across the street, like on the corner where, because he didn't want the gentleman, because he knew the guy knew his vehicle. So he says, I'm going to be sitting like across the street, but I'll be able to see what's going on. He, not that he needed to see to it that I was being asked to speak to him a certain way was happening, he was also he was a little fed up, and I'm sure he was given. Um, you got to understand. He get everything comes downhill, right? So somebody had that he's answering to. His captain is told him. I was told flat out, so and so wants this taken care of now. Thank you, Jimmy. I just want to say hello to somebody, guys. Duke, Mr. Lopez. A, it's a pleasure. I apologize for not seeing your name in the chat. I saw it, but it was late. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for serving this country the way you did, and any other member that served this country, especially you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a friend to who I now is like a brother. I thank you so much, and it's a pleasure and an honor to have you in here. Thank you. Thank you very much. It means a lot. Now, so he's told time has past that point of wait till Monday, Tuesday, you'll see you next week. So I'm told I need to go here, ask for so and so, tell him, you know, there's a way to do it. He might have his wife, I believe, in there. So you have to know, how to do it. Talk to you outside, whatever. Um, Unbelievable, Duke. Unbelievable. God bless you. I mean, that's so much. Hey guys, how about a big shout out for Mr. Lopez, Duke Lopez? Um, this man served our country in ways, men that have served our country, and our hats off to them. Don't get me wrong when I'm saying this man served this country in a way. It's not my place to say much, but he served this country in a way that aren't asked of most. Thank you. Um, Back to this, Duke. Get back into this, but thank you. Um, so I go into the place. My partner, my friend is across the street in his car, and he's just watching. Let me also tell you something very important that was also irritating the family, from what I understand. It was also said to me that I believe Italy won the World Cup in 2000. You guys would have to check for me, because if they didn't, because I remember Italy had just won the World Cup, and it was the Bronx, that it was bedlam crazy. But what happens is the same entertainment person that I'm going to go speak to at his place of business happened to, at the same time he was talented, make a big hit record for, and it just blew up. It blew up. It was like a remix of for the Italian soccer team, and all of this stuff. So he was doing very well with that. That had became all over the radio. They got wind of that. So they look at it like, you think we don't know about that either. So it was a culmination of things, not just the entertainment stuff. Thank you, fellas. So it wasn't just the entertainment stuff. There was also, a hit remix for the Italians winning the World Cup. Right? Who gives a shit? Whatever. But that's what it was about. So I'm told, you know, I got to remind him of his obligation. Right? That's my role in this. remind him of his obligation, and maybe you might have to show him how to find his pocket. I understood what that meant. I'm saying it the best possible way I can say it. Uh, so I go into this place. Place is good amount of people in there. Who's looking to book parties and whatnot, whatever. I'm not there for that. So I just, make believe I'm looking around, whatever. You got all the invitations and all that stuff. So he told, I knew who I was looking, who I needed to speak to. All the information. There's only one man that's going to be there, possibly the wife. So I see him, and I wait. The wife is right next to him. Um, you don't want to make anybody nervous, or the idea is you got to get them outside and talk to them. You don't want to do it. You don't want to try. You don't want to have to talk to people in front of 30 people. Got to get outside with it. Long story short, wife goes in the back for whatever reason. That's my chance to go up to the counter and tell him I need to speak to him. I tell him I need to speak to him. No need to say his name. I knew his first name. I said his name. I said, I need to speak to you. Who are you? I don't tell him. I just said I need to speak to you. So it doesn't really matter who I am. I'm sure you have an idea. And not that about he knows when you don't. He understood, whether it was me or somebody else. He you know something's coming when you're spitting in the face of people that are helping you make a lot of money. So expect it. So he actually doesn't give me a really hard time in the place of business, because it started to go that way a little bit, but I assured him that, um, yeah, I assured him that it's better off to talk outside, because, a lot of things could get ruined in the business. God forbid, like a fight. Let's say a fight breaks out, or maybe he throws a punch at me. Maybe he knocks me out. My point is this: things could get broken by mistake. Maybe he throws a chair at me and he breaks a display case. You make a mess of your business. Now it costs you so much more money in business. It's easier to go outside and have that conversation you're dreading to have because you're wrong about something. And maybe he's nervous about what the conversation might entail and where it could go. He doesn't know what's asked of me. And it was nothing serious outside of he needs to find his pockets. So we get outside, corner of a very busy area. Um, Quiet residential neighborhood, but this one strip was busy with a lot of stores and restaurants and delis and stuff like that. So we get to the corner, and I tell him, basically why I'm here. Not basically, I told him why I was there. And certain people are not happy at all. And he had an attitude still. Now, I was told what to do if he had an attitude. Okay. So honestly, I went there with the intentions to to wrestle. So his attitude would dictate, and his answers were going to dictate whatever would come his way. So if he answers correctly, speaks normally, yeah, he's probably going to get slapped, honestly. But everything's fine. You're going to pay your bill, and you'll go on. Well, he's got an attitude. So, of course, I probably don't have to explain what I told him, but I will. I told him we're off to a really bad start. Not verbatim. We're off to a really bad start. And I'm going to tell you something. You're not going back into your store, your bid, whatever it's called, whatever you do here. I'm letting him know I care less what he does, how big he is in his industry. It means shit to me. Nothing. Zero. Because it didn't. I didn't care. I'm not supposed to care. I have something to do. And I'm going to make sure it gets done. That's how it has to be. Or go sell Girl Scout cookies or whatever it is that you do. Do that. So the attitude continues. He says, after, my friend sees him on the floor, and maybe it was getting a little much. I don't really, yeah, it was a little, maybe it was a little much, but I had the old, I was told how to handle it. Maybe it was a little much. I don't know. I don't know. I never saw the replay. But anyway, now my friend jumps out of his vehicle and he's involved with this guy that's, this entertainment guy. And he knows him. And he's, what's going on? What happened? What happened? Why? Why? You know why. You know why. You don't act, play dumb. You know why. And then you're going to have an attitude to boot. So, got a couple more, I believe. If I recall correctly. Again, I don't have a replay, but back then there weren't cameras, so this stuff, you didn't have to, it was the furthest thing from my mind. Anyway, what happens though is he's going to straighten it out. He gets the message. He's going to straighten it out. He's going to straighten it out. Well, 3 days later, I'm with my friend again. Obviously, it was daily. But about 3 days later, he says to me, you remember that thing from the other day? I had no idea what he was talking about. It was something every day. Which one? I'm using the word entertainment. That guy. Yeah, what about? He goes, do you believe after all of this time, he names somebody's name and he says he's got to go for a sit down now. And he's got to go too because he says that he's been around and on record with another family that's on that same strip. So wait a minute. You've been paying two different families. The people I were with know what they were giving you, and you were with them and you were paying them for a long period of time. But now you come out of the woodwork when you're around somebody else. If Jimmy's still in the house, maybe someday he'll be able to speak on if he ever had any situations like this. Again, my role is I'm not privy to that sit down. I'm just being told of how this thing is working out. You believe this shit? I got to get called to a sit down now, and the captain's got to go, and they got to sit down with this other family and their captain and this entertainment guy that had some bumps and bruises. And whether that was right or not, it's really, it's all part of it. It was okay when you're making 15,000, 20,000 a party or whatever crazy number you're charging. Now you have somebody else. Well, he was very confident. My guy was very confident. He's full of shit. He's making it worse. They go to this sit down. And if anybody, I believe everybody does understand what a sit down is. Um, I won't get into the whole thing, but it's basically whoever he says he's with, he puts a beef in with, and then guys that are both on the same level try to work it out. The two guys that were on the same level could not work it out. Goes to the captains. They sit down. The two guys that are straightened out sit down, and they try to mediate the situation. Well, it gets mediated, and something that should have been a home run win, because he was paying the house that I was with. Like I said, I wasn't there from day one, but I had heard, I was told he was paying them for a long time. And they supplied him with a numerous number of uh, venues, right? Explain what they are. And sit down happens. I'm told there's going to be a sit down. First thing on my mind is, you know, anybody that, you know, understands this at all, you're not straightened out. Me. I could be told 100 million things to do from whoever I'm with. Now you're not thinking this at, you're not thinking of ever, or even thinking being concerned about that. But there's story after story of guys knowing the best way to get at somebody. I've said it before, is to get at his guy that's not straight yet, or whatever, you know. And then they sit down and say, "Oh shit, I didn't know he was with you. Oh, I didn't know." So now you got a guy that got some bumps and bruises, and now he's pulling somebody else out of the hat and saying he's really with them, and he didn't know what to do. Blah blah blah. So the sit down occurs, and I'm being told the whole time, man, he's done. He's done. And long story short, I don't know, a week later, whatever it was, with my guy again, he says, again, remember, the sit down I told you about? Yeah, everything worked out. I'm figuring absolutely everything. Nope, we lost. I said, how the fuck? How could you lose? How? How's that possible? He's been paying what you said 5 years, 6 years, and now, so he's been paying two people for this amount of time. Jimmy could, sometimes Jimmy could explain this too. Not everybody's good at mediating. Not everybody presents their side properly. I don't know what happened. I wasn't privy to be there. Okay, for that. They had no issue. They understood. He got out of order, so he had some bumps and bruises. That wasn't an issue. But they they actually didn't even ask for any compensation for that. Not from me, from whoever. They actually gave the house that I was with. They made some sort of deal. They gave them a few. Well, I don't know what a few is, 10, 15, 20. I don't know what that was, but it was, whatever. And they let him go back with the other family. So obviously, there had to be something there that, because these were old school guys that sat down. I'm talking, they were old time guys that were sitting down. Um, and there had to be something there that said, or they knew, yeah, this guy that's sitting down for him, he had a stellar reputation, stellar, and was well respected. Everybody's well respected with amongst each other, pretty much at that level. Um, but for whatever reason, they said no, he belongs here, and the team Lucchese lost that. Sit down. And the entertainment guy, I never saw him again. Never went to visit him again, and that story ended there. Some restitution was given to my house, not to me, obviously, and the other party family took total control of him. So, how he was paying two different families, how he got away with that, it's how you present your case, just like a lawyer presents a case to a jury. You know, um, I don't know. I never seen either one of those captains. I wasn't ever privy to, outside of some minor stuff, um, how they were at sit downs or how they handled them, how great they were. Some lawyers, that's the role you're really playing at that point. Some defense attorneys are just so much better than others. Um, so that was that one for tonight. It was a little something of, very little thing, but again, it was turning into a big thing. Um, you know, Jimmy says, I had a guy give me three names who he was with. Absolutely. I had to check each one. He lied three times. That means absolutely meant he was with nobody. Absolutely. In this case, Jim, the name he mentioned, it was a name. It was a name, but it still had to get checked, obviously. And when it got checked, it came back that they had to sit over it. So obviously, as you know, for them to win, there must have been something that, again, they were well established before I was around, but it was on my docket that day. Bed work. It was part of my work assignment for the day. It sounds like he was making money. Absolutely, absolutely. Matt, if you were wrong, I'd say it. He was making a ton of money. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been seeing him. Craig, what do you think of Skinny Joey's podcast, Duke Lopez? Duke, I don't watch it. Um, Not that for no reason. I don't watch. I've watched. Hold on, let me take that back. I've seen a couple of his shorts, like the shorter stuff. I think he's hysterical. Um, how I respect any man that hasn't cooperated or ratted, knowing what he's signing up for. Um, so from that standpoint, but when I say I don't watch it. Yeah, like I'm not somebody that is gonna, oh, I gotta, I'm gonna get home because so and so is on. No, but what I have seen, like if I'm sitting home and going through the TV and something comes up, I press it. What I have seen, he's funny as hell, tells it the way it is. So from that standpoint, how could you not respect the fact that he's saying what he's got to say? You know, and I think he's funny as hell. Now, you know, some people might feel differently. Yeah, no, I think that's a good question. It's a great question because it's a very popular question amongst. I don't know about. I don't know how Jimmy feels about it. Uh, it's a very hot topic right now. Well, it was a hot topic again. Not that far removed from any of these things, but what I'm saying is you hear chatter every now and then. You see all the crap on YouTube. Who's got something to say? Who's this? Who's that? Yeah, I heard about that, Maddie. Um, there might be some people that don't like he's doing a podcast, but I got to tell you, me personally, who who gives a shit? He's his own man. That's what he's telling. That's what I get from it. I'm my own man. I'm going to do what I want to do, and nobody's going to tell me what to do. That's what I basically the message. So from that standpoint, I don't know how maybe there's some people don't like what he's doing, but I wouldn't know that anymore. And I don't know Joe, never met him, but from what I see, I could tell you this: if I back in the days when I was bending the elbow and used to have a few cocktails, I'm sure we would have had a great time together because he seems like a funny bastard. Um, what's the big deal? Maddie says nothing is private or secret these days. Well, again, 24, 23 years removed from being what you would say active in the street, right? You know, I heard it's funny. I heard a channel say they're funny guys. They're funny too. It's funny taking shots at guys that were associates and whatnot. That would put me in that conversation. That's cool. It's funny. It's funny the way they said it. But that just tells me that they have no fucking clue. Excuse my language. Anything. They said we should start an associates club. So that gave me an idea. Maybe we will. Maybe we will. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll start an associates union. You want to break balls? I can break them with the best of them. I can. So let's have some fun. So, as far as the secretive stuff, look, it's simple. Anybody that's listening to this that's young and shouldn't be listening to this, and your parents don't know you're listening to this, I'm actually glad we're at the point in 2024 where it is. Um, where I don't think I don't know this for sure because I don't know what an 18-year-old's thinking, 17-year-old. Crime is crime, gangs are gangs. No matter how organized it is, whatever. Crime is crime. It's that simple. So if there's anything, and you're not supposed to be watching this, you don't want to do this shit. It's garbage. Your best friends wind up turning on you that you thought were brothers. Not in every case. I just know too many cases of it. So, people say, oh, the treachery didn't start till 2000s and stuff. Really? Do we have to go back? I mean, I'm sure we could leave that to all the historians, the historian channels. They should start a historian network on YouTube for all the historians that all they do is talk about guys that come on here and talk about life in the street or what it is to participate in any activity at any level in the street, and they talk about it. Guys that like what I'm doing right now. Oh, these guys come on, but yet all they do. I put out a short yesterday, Mafia Fanboys. I hope everybody gets a chance to see it. The top 5 reasons why you're a Mafia fanboy. I wasn't a fanboy. I'm not a fanboy today. I'm a fan of watching NFL football film. That's what I'm a fan of doing. That's my passion. Little blip on the screen. But let's get back to the historians. I appreciate the hard work you put in. I do. But you know it and understand it from reading Jerry Capisci. You probably pay $19.99 a month for that. Or you're talking to somebody that you know that's a federal agent. Good for you. Great. That's great. Great. You got one guy that's on this that's in the mob genre that constantly talks about guys that are active. What does that tell you? He talks about active guys. He talks about ceremonies that are going to took place. It's a joke. That's a joke. But yet you want to take shots at people that have actually cracked an egg in their life. You might not know what that means. I'll explain it. I'll explain it what it means, crack an egg. You never did nothing. Yet you know everything about the mob. You heard about somebody. You know everybody's nickname. Yet you never fucking met anybody. And if you did, you thought that meant that you were with them. No, that doesn't mean that. So you just talk about people that come on here, you're tired of hearing mob stories, mob this. Well, guess what? People want to hear them. Just like people might be sick and fucking tired of you and whoever you guys are that get stories from cooperators and only host cooperators. And you have a lazy, I'll tell you this, I think you have a lazy narrative. Most of you. Again with the camera. I think, I hope we're back on. So I didn't lose my trend. I'm still at it. So I think most of you have a lazy narrative. So you want to talk about guys that are coming on here and telling about stories about the life. Yeah, you have a right to tell stories about the life because it was a part of some people's life. Okay? Nobody knocks you for being a historian, but that's what you are. It's okay to be a historian. But no, that's what the fuck you are, is a historian. And if it wasn't for at one time you paid for $19.99 a month to be a member of gangland.com, Jerry Capisci, you wouldn't know dick. Okay? If it wasn't for guys getting rounded up and arrested, you wouldn't know their name. You know everybody's nickname. You know where they're from. You know this, you know that, you know this, you know that. And you never fucking cracked an egg. As a matter of fact, you're probably the guys took your lunch money every day in school. Every day. So stay in your lane. Be the historian and stay in your lane. And to the other guys that say associates to start a club, I like it. I'll figure something out. I'll reach out to any other associates that are out there that did spend time and aren't afraid. They do it the right way. This camera is giving me problems tonight. Definitely with the internet, guys. I don't know what's going on. I hope we didn't miss it. Yeah, the young people just stay away from any sort of criminality at all. I don't care if it's this garbage, gangs, any sort of shit. Stay away from it. Run. Run from it. Do the right thing. Don't hurt your parents. Don't crush them. Don't hurt your family members. And most of all, don't hurt yourself. Nothing good comes out of this crap. Nothing. And in the end, let me tell you something else what happens. Maybe Jimmy will touch on it Friday. Let me tell you something what happens when everybody gets rounded up. And for some of you guys that talk about the Associates Club, guess what? Certain associates understand what it is to get rounded up. They're not proud of it. But let me tell you what happens because I'm sure you guys don't know. Just like the historians don't understand it. When everybody gets rounded up, guess what happens? That's when the whispering starts. What do you think is bad? Who's it? What? All of a sudden, you're a pariah. You don't know who's who. You're hearing whispers of everybody that's rounded up in your case. Nobody comes near you. But you see, in my case, in the Associates Club, I guess I was fortunate enough to be able to use the same law firm as the top guy in the case used. It's a fact. So I was lucky, right? So they could never be whispering about me, ever. So all you historians go, like you got all your ins. You got all your ins in courthouses. Pull it up. Get it out. What I'm saying is this, guys. Your historians, don't be upset that guys are talking about, well, you could be upset, but people want to hear certain things. It's how you say them. It's how you say it. Just like maybe I don't like how some of the historians talk. I don't say nothing to them. I don't think it's cool how they talk. I heard one guy say the guy's a bum, he's old, he hit somebody, he should rot in jail. Something to that effect. Maybe that guy's family's listening to that. Somebody that loves him. Maybe he's got a grandchild, you know. Maybe he's got nephews that are, and so there's family members out there. I'm not talking about family members. I'm talking about people that love these people, whether you like them or not. Yet, all you guys do, all you historians all day, badmouth everything about these guys that come on and talk about their life in the mob or this or that, whether it's a made guy, associated guy, a guy that tells a street story. All you do, these guys rolling it, blah, blah, blah. Yet you're the sick fucks that are obsessed with it. I lived it. It was my life for a short period of time. I'm 57. So whatever time I put into it, I put into it. I'm sure you used to do your homework. Figure it out. You're the guys that are obsessed with it. Really. That's all you do. Listen, if I could spend 10 hours breaking down film on football, it's an obsession. I love it. I'm a film junkie. It's no different. You're obsessed with knowing everybody's nickname, what family they were with, what position they had, who their fucking uncle was, who their sister was, who their brother-in-law was, who their mother is. You're sick. You got a problem. You're obsessed with something you shouldn't be obsessed with because you don't know nothing what it's really about. The only thing you know is what you read from prosecutors, federal documents, courthouses, or cooperators. That's a fact. When have any of you historians had real guys that lived the life, walked away, was able to get away the right way on? No. You only platform outside of one who I respect, and he knows that. He knows that. And yet, you guys get all these people to listen to you. You got to be kidding me. I did a short yesterday. I'm sorry some of you didn't get it. I guess the YouTube algorithm didn't like what I put out there. The top 5 reasons you're a Mafia fanboy. I don't remember what they were. I hope it comes across some of you because you don't understand it. So don't worry about what we're talking about because what we're talking about, we did it. Not proud of it, but we're not going to run from our past either. You hope. I know with my kids, I know my children do things the right way in life. They're not perfect. Right? You guys are obsessed with it. Talk about because we're telling the story once a week. You're talking about it 5 days a week. And how about this? There's some of yous, and you know who you are. You're selling products that are promoting it. So who's the sick one? Who's the sick one? The guy that spent time in the street because that's what he chose to do? Some would say qualified to do. Whatever. A mistake. Part of your history. Or is it the guy that sits 17 fucking 100 miles away and reads every book that was ever written, goes to every courthouse, gets every court document he can, subscribes to every wise guy fucking journalist magazine and gets all his information over that and from cooperators and says that guys that were in the street are all bums and lowlifes. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I got something for you. And dopes. I don't think any of you guys out there that, again, never cracked an egg in your life had your lunch money taken daily. Daily. Absolutely. I don't think not one of you could run a $500 million industry. These are dopes, right? Dopes. How much money do you think these families were generating at one time? They're dopes. They're dopes. They're morons that were able to control the country. They're morons. And to the Associated Club, I say this. Every made guy that's being truthful will tell you this. If he likes you, if he knows you. He's only as good as the guys he's got around him. Jimmy, if I'm wrong, let me know in the chat. A made guy is only as good as what he got around him. Jimmy, if I'm right or wrong, let me know in the chat. Dex, let me know if I'm wrong in the chat. Absolutely. But, and this ain't listen, this ain't drama. We're talking facts. We're spitting facts. Lazy narrative. I think it's a lazy narrative to only tell one side, and you don't know what it is to and it's not to be proud of, but it is something you did and chose to make that decision. You know, nobody twisted my arm to do illegal things, but I also understood that if I got in trouble, what would come from day one. Again, I say the made guy is only as good as what he's got around him. If he's only got tough guys around him, who's making money? Dex. The made guy is only as good as what he got around him. If he's got no earners around him, what are they earning? If he's only got shooters around him, what are they doing? Right? Yes, then no, explain, Dex. Just my opinion. That's my opinion. And I believe it, and I'll die believing it. It's all good. This is great, man. You kidding me? This is great. Um, but anyway, so I get the historians. I appreciate that, but I was never a historian for the mafia or the mob. Doesn't mean that's good or bad. I'm just saying I'm not. So I didn't care to study up names and learn nicknames if I didn't know if I didn't know you because I married into the family or had family or whatever, or you are a neighbor that was I met or whatever. I was even in the life living in doing work in that life as just an associate, right? You meet people all the time, right? Some do, some don't. I still was not a historian. I only wanted to know what I needed to know. I didn't want to know too much. I only wanted to know if I needed to know something and how important that person was. But it was only told to me if it was needed to be told to me. Thank you, Jimbo. Glad. Look, I don't. And Dex, and he's a dear friend of mine. We're fucking argued till we're blue in the face, no doubt about it. I happen to agree, Jimmy, a million percent, because you got a lot. You had back then. I mean, there was a lot of broke fucking crews, a lot of broke crews, a lot of tough guys, a lot of shooters. I said that from a long time ago. I said that on somebody's show, and no, I'm telling you, there was. And Dex knows it was a violent time with some wild motherfuckers running around up there. It's the oldest story in the world, Nick says. If you haven't lived it, your opinion really don't mean shit to him. Amen to that, Dex, because there are guys that never had anyone around them. They couldn't, for example, Eddie the Blonde from downtown, he reported to one person. I understand what you're saying, and I know Jimmy understands what you're saying. I'm talking about in generalities, Dex. 7, 8 guys, 10 guys in a crew, whatever. Only one guy straight. He's got 6, 7, 5 guys, whatever the number is. They got to be worth something to be around him, right? And it can't be just the tough guys. Maybe in the 50s that worked. I don't know. Look, no, it's not even. It's a good discussion. And you know what? If I was a little, listen, that's just how I feel. I'm not knocking the historians. What I'm saying is true journalism I see from one show. I'm sure there's more. I don't watch a lot of it. There's only one guy who I believe is a journalist and does great work, and he knows who that is. I've made it clear who that is. There's a bunch of guys that have big channels, but I think their narrative is lazy. Yeah, they can quote everything, give you everybody's nickname, tell you everything from fucking 1900 to 2024. That is phenomenal. At one time, I could tell you every Pittsburgh Steeler from 1970 to today. I can't anymore. That's great. You know what I mean? I didn't play in the NFL, though. I didn't make it. I wasn't good enough. So I can't tell you about my NFL career. Does it give me the right to talk about football? What little I know? Yeah, it does. You know why? I played ball. I played football. Doesn't matter if I was any good or not. Some in the chat might know if I was any good or not, but that really doesn't matter anyway. It doesn't. I played it. I experienced it. I understand it. I don't think you guys fully understand it. I don't. And that's okay. Everybody doesn't have to agree. That's what makes being a man being a man. You got something to say, you say it. That's it. We don't have to agree and we move on. But as far as everybody being a dope and morons, I don't know about that. Let me see you run a $500 million enterprise. Any one of you. And some of you might be smart. And as far as guys talking about guys that are active and announcing ceremonies, all that tells me is that, you're probably on the payroll already, or, you work for the prosecutor's office or something. Thank you, Dex, very much. My man. Jimmy's 50 grand, so my man 20 grand. Love you, brother. Dex, you understand exactly what I know you know. And Jimmy, thank you. Nick, thank you. I was just trying to make a point, and I didn't mean to go on but I just see so many lazy narratives, man. I just think before you tell us anybody, before we speak on anything, let's get all the sides. You know, you want to announce something that's breaking news from the media, that's fine. But how many times have we learned Names get twisted and said wrong, spelt wrong, birth dates are wrong. That means something. So if you can make mistakes doing all of that shit, well, guys could get mistakenly killed, right? Because you had the wrong name. I've been through that before already. So, you know, I just say to all you big time channels, big, I'm talking huge, that are the historians. I'm not knocking the fact that you study the mafia, but don't act because you're the same guys that are saying, who would want to do this shit? Who would want to be in this life? But this is all you know. Every waking minute, that's all you do. So you would want that life. You just couldn't get it. Why? You probably know why. So don't, you act like, I would want, these guys are morons, they're dopes, they're idiots, they never learn. But yet all you do for 15 hours a day is study about everybody's name and their nickname. Worry about what you do, right? Worry about what you do. And the Associates Club is coming. I'll figure it out. I'm just not sure how much I'm going to charge you guys a month. Okay? What's up, guys? We're good? I hope everybody's good. We always keep it 100 here. You know that. I get it. People don't like, maybe, sometimes the truth hurts. When I was a young kid, I didn't like to hear the truth. I didn't like to hear the truth because the truth hurt as a youngster, very young. Now you need to hear the truth, right? Don't tell me what I want to hear. Tell me what I need to hear. Anyway, Jack the Ripper, what's up, my brother? What's happening, buddy? I always look out for your stuff, my man. Drop your link. If anybody's in the house, everybody ran, I think, when I started going crazy. I didn't go crazy. I just lazy narratives. That's all. Um, Jack, if you know how to, Duke, I feel those historians live a loser life and they live in a world of their own. Wow. Wow. Couldn't have been said, Duke, and it has nothing to do with mutual friendships and how much you gave to this country. You couldn't be said it any freaking better than how I feel about it. That's just a fact. But again, we're not here for, I don't know what made me go into that. It's just that I've been hearing about a lot of dope, a lot of these guys, and they're talking about old men, saying they should die in jail. These guys are old and whatever. I just think there's family members listening to that. I don't think that's nice. Um, you know, as far as like people getting at other people on the YouTube thing, like you didn't hear me mention anybody's name because they have family, so you don't know if I'm talking to you personally or not. You might surmise I'm speaking about a certain historian or a certain guy that talks about active guys and ceremonies and reports who's going to be the next captain and shit like that. Absurd to say shit like that. Crazy. But I didn't mention nobody's name. So I never said your name. But you guys say everybody's name. And that's your job, I gather, as a historian. But guys that lived this life because they chose to at any level, no different. Let me ask you a question. You go after the Bloods and the Crips, Latin Kings, every motorcycle gang. Do you just do that? No, you're petrified because you think this thing is done. And, let's face it, it's not what it was. Not even close. And good, good, good. Thank God. Because now no more young kids got to worry about their families don't have to worry about them getting involved in that. Why don't you just do your homework like you do, but give a complete narrative? After you're done doing your 2 hour interview with a cooperator, right? Try to reach out to somebody that hasn't cooperated. There's a few that are out there, right? Would you even want to hear what they had to say? Or is it what I said, a lazy narrative? Jimmy, I love you, but I'll talk to you tomorrow. Guys, Bobby, tomorrow night we got a draft show, Bobby. I hope you're going to be here. We're going to have a special guest, hopefully, on the panel with us. We got a lot to go over, Bobby. What do you think, Bob? You in tomorrow night? Wyatt Earp, my man. Wyatt Earp. I have a range to run. And you got it. Duke, what's up? Craig, I have a lot of Italian friends, and some of them want to live the mob life, but they have no idea what it's all about. Got you, Bobby. Absolutely. Tomorrow night, Duke. You want to know something? I I thought I saw a lot young, you know, um, but truly, my as well didn't. You think you have a grasp on it, even though you see it young, and you understand some things, but you don't, you don't, you don't, because there's no such thing as a free felony, you know, and as the old saying goes, shit rolls downhill. So guys, the guys that sometimes I can't speak with a broad brush. I can't say this went on in history because I wasn't around for the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever. I was alive, but um, yeah, you know, no, you don't know, you're not prepared. You think you know until you know you're sitting in a car at 2 in the morning and you're driving with somebody. Maybe somebody's in the back, and you're not thinking of shit. You're not thinking of nothing because you're with guys you love and trust. And then years later, you realize, what if they had something on their mind? The way you hear through a lot of outlets today, this guy got labeled this, untrue, got rid of him. Whatever, whether it's true or not, you know what you're signing up for. It can't be a thought in your mind, but that is true. Until you like truly understand it, Dex, guys know that no. You could talk about it all you want. You'll never really understand it. And I'm not talking about like selling fireworks and shit like that. Who didn't do that? Who didn't? I'm not talking about that. That's hustling. Everybody. I mean, I told you from young, hustling was in me. So I mean, that didn't make me a gangster. That didn't make me part of anything because I like to hustle. You know. But when you're given a direction to do something, I don't care what it is. It could be a message, a nonviolent message. The simplest thing. You have no idea, no clue what it's like to always have your phone on, get called all hours of the night. I need to see you. It doesn't go through your mind what it's about or there's going to be a problem. But you think, yeah, you could think about that shit now, but you're not thinking about it then. But until you had to go meet somebody at 3 in the morning in a very desolate area, and it's somebody you love and trust, And that's not on your mind when you're going to meet these people, that person. Shit happens. Maybe, somebody's saying shit. I always said the guy's got, whoever's got the ear of the person that's got some stroke juice, whatever word we want to use, that's got the power. A lot of shit could be said about you that ain't true. And before you know it, you don't even know it, and you got problems. So, little things like that. Little. Again, this will come off like, I said what I said, I stand by what I said, and that's that. There ain't no backtracking. That's that. Yeah, dude. Absolutely. And I got to say this. I want to say this, make this clear. Over 20, 24 years, whatever, I don't mess around in the street. I don't want no issues. My grandchildren, my children mean too much to me. My wife, my friends, people that love me, people I love. Yes, there's some instinctual stuff that's in you that never leaves. And I'm not talking about that I want to, you're looking to scam people and shit like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about basic things men should have, period. Not be allowed to be disrespected and treated like a dog. And you accept that. Teach your children to tell on people in school. I don't care if I catch any flack from this. I never taught my kids. I'm not saying I'm right, but I didn't teach my kids to tell the teacher. Because the teacher, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Teacher's not going to be with your child on the bus stop when the bully just got told on that's been picking on your kid. And the teacher's not going to be in the village that they live in, but the bully is. So it's got to end somewhere. And it doesn't end with you telling the teacher or an official or anybody else. At some point, you got to stand up to the bully. Some might not want to hear that, and some might believe it. Yes, tell the teacher. That's fine. That's your choice. I can't tell nobody how to parent. I just didn't believe in that at all because that just made you a victim. Now, what I told them probably wasn't the right way to tell them either. You know, Teachers don't care. That's why I'm awesome, OG Ruby. Ruby, it's great you said that. If my wife is watching, she'll see it. But at some point, I got to tell you, Ruby, there was with my youngest. I got three old ones. 30s, early 30s, 30, 31. My daughter's 34, and then I got 20. Big gap. 21. He'll be 22. 21. He'll be 22 in May. Oh shit, next month. Um, where's he gonna be 21? Anyway, boy, I'm in trouble now. Years ago, they made it so hard you could not homeschool your children. The Board of Ed, it was. I don't want to get it on a tangent with them because I will. But yeah, they made it impossible. They never wanted you to homeschool your children, and that is the best way to do it. That is the best way to do it. But I'm going to tell you guys something, and I keep it real, so I'm gonna keep it 100, and I know I'll be told. Well, they might not say to me, "You see, that guy's an animal. I told you, he's no good." Whatever. That's all good. One of my sons can't used to come home and complain every day. Somebody was taking his pencil. First grade, second grade. Every day I would hear it. Taking my pencil, taking my pencil, taking my pencil, taking my pencil. And I hear my wife saying, I'm just getting home from work, whatever. I hear my wife saying, don't let that happen again. You got to put a stop to that. So, of course, I lose my temper a little bit. What do you mean somebody's taking your pencil? Yeah, somebody's taking my pencil and he does it every day, every day. What are you supposed to say? I can't tell you what I said because it wasn't, I should have said a little easier maybe. But your reaction Sometimes you just react out of instinct. You know, the next time somebody goes to grab your pencil, make sure you have another pencil in the other hand. You could imagine what I said. Now, should you be telling a 7-year old that? No. But how do you stop it? By telling the teacher? No. Anyway, Duke, I want to thank you. I love you. Thank you for coming in. Maybe one day we can talk you in. We'll talk to Nick. We'll see. I hope everybody enjoyed whatever. We just shoot the breeze. Tomorrow night we got a draft show. Bobby, nobody's clipping you, Bobby. You love Bobby. Dex, I love you. Thank you. Everybody here. Cinnamon Girl, Ruby, I'm sorry. We always catch us late, but Ruby, it's always a pleasure to see you. You know that. Bobby, my man. Duke, awesome shooting the breeze with you once again. Thank you for serving us the way you did, my brother. I hope, Duke, whenever you get a chance, you pop in, say hello, your family, uh, Wyatt Earp, Bobby, Matty Boy, Benny, Sal, Jack the Ripper, Duke again, Cinnamon Girl, Hoppy, Dex Dallas, all Jimmy D, all our people, man. All our people. Nick, my man, I'll call you a little bit. Timmy Irish is not with us right now. But you know what? Before I go, let me put this up so you guys know I don't forget about it. Timmy Irish, 82 days left. We expect you to be back here in full uniform. Love you guys. Be cool. Be safe. And young ones, if you snuck and listened to this, stay away from the garbage. And remember, nothing good happens when the sun goes down. Nothing. Nothing good out there. Do the right thing. Listen to your parents. Make something of yourself because you can. Right? Try to stay away from making mistakes. Others did. And with that being said, I feel Duke, I love it, man. I love you, Duke. I feel for those in store. Oh man. Absolute Duke. Being Duke, I'm telling you. Oh man. We got some conversation, brother. Guys, have a good night. Duke, I hope one day we get a chance to talk on the phone. I really do. I really get to have a great conversation. And who knows? But thank you all for coming in. I had a good time. I hope whenever I spend time with you guys, it's good. Just have a great night and be safe. And we'll see you tomorrow night with our football draft show for whoever wants to be here. Good night, guys.